everyone, and welcome to another Wildcard Wednesday. Tonight I have a doula meeting. I've got two clients coming, and we always give them a little congratulatory card for their pregnancy. Not for the baby, but for their pregnancy. So I have this cute little stamp. I love it. And you know, now that I've organized my stamps in the binder system, I'm finding I'm using my rubber stamps and my cling stamps and my acrylic stamps way more than I did when they were smashed in a drawer. I'll quickly grab the binder and show you what I mean. It's binder number 1, and it's got nature stamps, alpha numbers, and words and sayings. And I also put on the back there, you see, the same thing. So it's easy to see. You can just grab it. So if I needed some alphas, I could go right here. And there's all my alphabets. And it's just such an easy system. So I made 3 of these binders. I cannot take the credit for this system. God bless the lovely lady that developed this system, but all you need is some sheet protectors like these here, a sewing machine, and a binder. That's it, and of course your stamps, and it's fabuloso. I love it. So let me get underway with my card. Got my supper all made. Another thing I hear very often when people are wanting to do cards and create and such, they don't have time because they're working full time and they've got to come home, make supper, all of that. I really tend to use my slow cooker or really one pot dishes, especially if I have a doula meeting, plus I want to make cards. I got to clean the house. You know how it goes. So I've cut one sheet of 8.5 by 11 in half, the standard way, 5.5 by where it is scored at 4 1/4. I'm really liking this paper cutter. I go through paper cutters like crazy, but I'm really liking the new Stampin' Up! One. What I love is that it's wider than most. Can you see? It goes right to 6 inches. So you don't have to pull the arm out until you're over 6 inches. And the scoring little tool, it comes with the scoring and the cutting blade. There's the cutting blade here. But this little scoring tool is really good, and it doesn't rip your cardstock. So I cut my cards out like I mentioned, and I'm using Wild Raspberry paper by K & Company. And in here was stuffed all these scraps of paper. Like, see these little bits? It must have been from other projects. I don't even know that this is all Wild Raspberry. Like, I know this is not. But I can still use it in this card. You see little pieces like that were just shoved. I must have been going on a card frenzy or doing something. But anyway, I'm using scraps of others plus Wild Raspberry. I know this is a K & Company piece of paper. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out with my pennant punch. I know Jenny Boland has a really nice pennant punch, and Stampin' Up! Does. I'm just going to cut the little guys. See this size? I cut just a few random pennants out of the scraps. So I have my card front here, and then this is a piece of that Wild Orchid. I think it was, or maybe not, because I don't know, but it's a piece of a color that is not a baby color, so it's not pink or blue. So it's a really pretty peachy orangey color. Those little polka dots might be pink, but they're so pale because I don't like to make my card in a gender specific color tone. So what I'm going to do right now is adhere the card right down. It was cut 1/4 inch smaller than the card front. So this card front here is 5 1/4 by 4 inches, and it gives you a really nice 1/4 inch mat. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere that down with my ATG gun. I usually don't do that. I usually like to work on this in case I make a mistake, but the next process, this has to be adhered down. So it's all adhered down. So the next part is going to be the placement of our little pennants. So what I want to do is have a row of pennants that kind of goes up that way, and then one that kind of goes down this way. And so I've got all my little pennants over here, all my little pieces. Here they all are. I cut out I need 10, 5 for the front and 5 for the bottom, but I think I've cut out probably 12. This is why I say keep all your scraps, because I mean that's just a tiny little piece of scrap paper and it can make the cutest whimsical card. So I'm just going to take a pencil here and I'm going to draw probably, and I mean this is just a guesstimate, there's no right or wrong way to do this. So I'm just going to draw a light line from that corner going up to that corner, okay? And then the next one, I'm going, well, first I'll do that row. So I'm going to take a glue gun and run a little thread of glue gun along there and adhere this really thin twine all along that pencil line, leaving a little bit hanging off the edge, maybe just enough to play around with because we're going to tie a little knot in it. And then, once that's glued on there, I'm going to glue the pennants on and put a little bit of glue gun on the back, and it'll go just slightly above the twine, like about, whoops, like about so. So you won't really see the pencil line and there won't be any need to erase it. So here we have our first row. See, this paper, this piece almost looks like there was some sketches or something on it, but no matter, it's not gonna be a problem because we're gonna be covering it all up. So now we're gonna start from the bottom here, and this one went down going up, so this one we're gonna just draw a line, and we're gonna start here, and we're just gonna go more down. Like so. I suppose it should go more down. It doesn't really matter as long as these bottom pennants will fit here. Yep, they're good. As long as they're not, the line's not too low that it's going to bring it off the card. So yeah, so you go ahead and do the exact same thing with the twine, running a small bead of glue gun glue, leaving a little bit on the edges, and then we'll finish that up in just a second. So you're going to have something that looks something like this. Banners, and what's cool is they're still flopping, but they're adhered on. That's why I use the glue gun glue with long strings. So the bottom little row here, I want you to snip them as close as you can to the end of the card, and then we're going to make little tiny bows. Use a glue dot and glue the bows on either side. Now our card looks something like this. See the little bows? There's a little bit of glue dot there. So I'll just push it up because they weren't mini dots. I haven't used glue dots in years, but I saw this Elmer's glue dotty thing at the dollar store. And I was like, hey, let me just got a roll of glue dots, see? And you just plunge it down like so, and then it releases a glue dot. So it works really well for this little card. So now we're left with our top part here with these long strings. So what I want you to do is tie it in a knot about here and then just cut it off. So do that on both sides. So I can zoom in close and you can see the little tiny little knot right there. And then I use these little miniature clothespins on the top one. I didn't want to do it on both because I felt like it would just be too many clothespins and be a bit of an overkill. So from this point on, this card could be used for anything. It's a very celebratory happy birthday card. It just could be used for anything. So I stamped my stamp, Oh Baby, onto some white cardstock, and I just used Ranger Black Archival ink. I think it just gives a richer, blacker color. And I think I tried it over here, and I think it didn't. Yeah, it left a little doodad. But one thing I want to show you, because sometimes I have to remember there are beginner stampers watching these shows. If you get a little mistake, you see there where the ink didn't take, just take a black Sharpie pen and just color that little bit in, and it's gone. And you have a perfectly stamped image. The only reason I don't like this one is because of that. But I'll use the one on the other side. But I just wanted to show you that's a great way to cover up black ink. So I'm going to cut this out. Just going to follow along the shape of the stamp. So I'm not doing it in a rectangle or a circle or anything, just the shape of the little lady and the stamp. So here are my finished two cards. Very whimsical, very, very cute. They're both a little bit different. You can see how that one went and didn't touch the bottom, whereas this one did, but that's okay. It doesn't touch the bottom of the card front, so that's what's important. The finishing touches I did, I had some lost and found brads. I clipped the little braddy things off. Make sure you protect your eyes, or if you're wearing glasses, you're good, because they can kind of fly all over. I am such a person that always feels I have to ink everything, and I was so tempted to ink around each flag, each pennant, the little lady, everything. So I found just by adding the little dot lines around with the ultrafine Sharpie and adding these lost and found brads with the heart, and that one says heart you. Isn't that so cute on her belly? It finished it off nicely. And I'm going to use 5x5 envelope because of the clothespins and they're not being mailed. So thanks a lot for watching, everyone. Give it an old thumbs up if you like it. And leave a comment if there's any kind of cards you'd like to see me make. And we'll see you next week. Bye.